Hello, everybody, which is nobody. Let me set some things up here while I'm talking to everybody here. So the way I can do, here it is, chat. See if it comes up. And it does. How's everybody doing, by the way? And can everybody hear me? The big thing. I think so. So turn my volume up. All right. Well, we're going to get started. Let me wait just one more minute. Give me one more second. And we will start. Hold on one second. Let me get something. I'll be right back. Bye. All right, let me find where I was, see what's going on. Start with a little news, see what's been happening in the nation. Do you guys see the Georgia voting ID? You know, obviously we've all seen it in Georgia where Brian Kemp, I heard somebody, this is what got my attention. I heard somebody talk about Brian Kemp. Sorry, I'm trying to find where I can see my messages when you guys talk. Somebody talked about Brian Kemp being a great guy because he did the voter ID for voting. And I just thought in my head, really? You know, Brian Kemp's a traitor. To me, he's a traitor to the country and what he's done. The evidence is pointing that direction. Let me just put it like that. Okay, he said you have to use ID. To me, it's a distraction. He's trying to say, I want to keep being governor here because I'm making a lot of money doing this on the side. So he put in the voter ID, but nobody's talking about Dominion. Who cares if there's voter ID? That should already be a gimme. It should be common sense. But at the end of the day, voter ID or not, we still have Dominion voting. We still have the machines that are cheating. So whatever. Anyways, I have been asking around. There's very few people talking about the Dominion machines that are still in play. There's no question. You can't go do a news interview on media, found out. Doesn't matter if you're General Flynn, they're not going to talk to him anyway. Mike Lindell, they're not going to talk to him anymore anyway. But you cannot get on media and talk about Dominion. And if you guys have heard it on Fox News from any of the few that I'm kind of Greg Kelly or any of them, please let me know. If you hear them coming out bashing Dominion machines, I would like to hear about it. Because right now, yeah, Mike Lindell, of course, is blasting it, and he's putting the evidence up. And if you guys see what he's doing on the Frank speech? I always mess it up. Incredible new platform. Everybody, all conservatives are running to it. You guys go check it out. There's some good stuff on there. Man, what they're doing, calling stuff out, is incredible. Free speech. They can get away with whatever. They're not going to get kicked off anymore. The Mike Flynn, who's the attorney I like so much? not Mike, not Lindell. We know who Lindell is, the pillow guy, and the other. They are going around speaking at churches now everywhere, awakening the troops, awakening the conservatives, saying, hey, wake up, because many of the conservatives are in church. Unfortunately, not all of them, but many of conservatives are in church. They're saying it's time to wake up, folks. And even President Trump is now having more of a voice and starting to speak. So things are going on. Things are moving. But if you are hearing anything, the voter ID is a good thing. Kemp, good job. Way to throw everybody off and make them think you're a hero. Dominion machines being in use is still a very bad thing. Cannot win an election with them. Until we get rid of that garbage, we won't win. And it's not allowed to be talked about. So I did want to talk also. Linwood, thank you, Chris. Yes, Linwood is with them. Awesome. Love that guy. He sounds crazy to people sometimes, but man, I love the guy. He does not sound crazy to me. Yeah, I gotta say, there's a few times I thought, oh, come on. But I'm riding with you, Linwood. No matter what, I'm with you. The guys, when you hear him in a regular interview and just talking, you think, well, he's not crazy. And the guy's not going to say something that he can't get away with, or they'll sue him. Anyways, another story real quick I thought was real funny is Mike Lindell. They said they were going to sue Dominion goes after Lindell to sue him. Oh, he wanted that really bad. We all wanted it. So they go after him just to sue him. And so the news came out and said it. Hey, they're suing Lindell. They're going to sue him for this much. Well, then Dominion knew better, or something. They thought, we better not do that. They tried to back off. So Lindell called the media back, the liberal media, and said, you guys look like a bunch of liars. He got his buddies to do it, actually. You guys look like a bunch of liars. You are fake news because they're not suing like they said. So the liberal media put the pressure on Dominion to sue Lindell. And Lindell got what he wanted. Now he gets to come out with all the evidence. It has to be shown in court now. Thought, very intelligent guy. The guy's done a great job. I love that the media calls him crackhead and everything. He's next crackhead. And he's like, that's old news. I've told that a long time ago. For sure. That's exactly. So anyways, police are all in the news. Let's talk about the cops just a minute. I worked in law enforcement just a little. I just worked at a prison and did get CLE certified. Worked for a courthouse one time. I will say the little I worked it, man, if I told my side and I was around cops a lot, smaller town cops at a little time when I worked another job. And man, it's kind of like any job. You get guys that want to make a career out of it. I mean, that's their, and even them, they might have some issues. Maybe it's control issues or something. But then you got good guys who just want to make a career. They really want to serve. You got guys who just need jobs. It's the whole reason I went to law enforcement to begin with. I needed a job. Then I kind of liked it. Man, I kind of used some of the gifts God gave me and did very, very, very well busting stuff. Just from, man, I just could read somebody like that and did very well at it. In fact, I did so well, they accused me of passing the drugs out and then busting the people. So that was kind of funny. Like, they barely accused me. I'm like, really? Guys. And well, yeah, we don't understand how you're doing that. We bought these drug dogs and they're not finding it. How are you finding them? Honestly, I would seriously walk by somebody and I would just get that. Sometimes just the way they looked at me and be like, nah, that's you. You got it. Come here. Shake him down and have it. So anyways, when it comes to these police officers, I think the main thing that I saw I'm going to do the negative and positive. The negative side when it comes to police officers, let's say law enforcement, but even the cops that I worked with around when I worked in Hugo, man, I just saw some guys and it still seemed they got that badge on, and we've seen the bad stuff before. They got the badge on and they just kind of stepped a little taller with a gun next to their side. That was the good thing about working in a prison. You didn't have a gun. you better be respectful how you talk to a guy doing 30, 40 years. Uh, you didn't have a gun and you're on the back 40 acres back here somewhere and you got a crowd of them. You better know how to communicate. So I always thought, what a better place really to train police officers than to get them around these criminals who could kill them in a second and teach them how to just have some respect. Now, even in that case, not all of them. Sometimes respect just wasn't good enough for these people, you know. But for the most part, you treat them with respect. You kind of learned a different way. I kind of like the prison starting and people being there and then going into law enforcement. Start without a gun, start without a weapon. Talk to somebody, and you got to know that if you got to fight, you better be willing to fight, not run. I did see many cowards. But there comes a point you got to fight if you're going to survive, and get somebody that's can fight with their hands just a little bit before. Sometimes a weapon just isn't the first thing to pull. And then muscle memory, train, man, go on your own, train. They train you a lot. They train you in when to put that finger on the trigger. And if you put it there too early because you're scared and you jump, you're going to pull the trigger. It happens. Don't put your finger on the trigger till you have to. And there's times everybody knows that. Point of when to do that. Anyways, there's just people they hire that, man, sometimes they'll hire a guy off the street, has no experience, and he was folding pizza boxes yesterday, and today he's a cop with a lot of authority. And they'll let him start being a cop with a gun on his side and don't even have to go through training for 6 months to a year. That's a little scary to me, things like that. The ones that man, they're in it for a career, they're in it to serve. Man, find those guys. Use some common sense and find those guys. Let them teach the other guys. And even at that, those guys will make mistakes from time to time. But man, we got to realize that is a tough job. And they start defunding them even more. That job's going to get a lot tougher. You're going to see some people not qualified whatsoever get in that position. And the ones qualified, man, it's going to be not worth it. You will literally see a decline go fast. Now, the media has made it decline faster than what I think that it has to. But all in all, there are some very good officers out there, man. Very good. They are out there to serve. They're the ones that should be leading and training. But unfortunately, many times in law enforcement in these facilities, they are nonprofit. They're not making a profit, so they hire I'm going to take my buddy who's a chicken like me because I moved up, or he's not as trained. And because he's not trained, we want him off the street. We're going to make him a trainer. And man, just things don't work. It starts to fall apart once you start doing those things. Let's start using some common sense, put the good guys at the top, let them train, and go from there. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say. But I will say defunding the police will be a big mistake down the road. You can't come up here and start dismantling this. You guys know what will happen. Actually, they dismantle it from the bottom, and then you know what happens. So some of the things I think that they buy for them is ridiculous at times. When you got a town of 800 people and they're giving them some of the stuff they've let them buy through the government, goofy. Give them training, send them to schools, do something else before you buy a town of 600 people, 3 tanks. You know what I mean? 4 drug dogs. And so, anyways. Yes, citizens need to know their Bill of Rights, constitutional rights, and so do the police. That's a very good point, Chris. If these guys don't know what they can, I'll tell you a story. In the year 2000, 1999, going into the year 2000, I worked at a prison. I was told, and there's a story behind this. It was not me. Trust me, I talked to inmates just like I talk to you guys. Hey, guys, what's going on? But there was a lot of spiritual thing. You go to a prison, you want to know somewhere more spiritual than churches in America? A prison. And when I say spiritual, I mean bad and good. And I would have people jump on me and never knew me, get on the prison and head straight. They'd pass 5 officers to jump on me, and I've never said a word to them. But the one thing they would always try to say in 1999, going into the year 2000, I had more uses of force in the state of Oklahoma than any one prison had altogether. I outdid the whole state with one person. And I'll never forget the assistant warden coming in to tell me that. So we just went to a meeting with the director and everybody. You know what he said? You came up. They didn't know who you were, but I was like, really? All right. I mean, I like getting my head bashed in. This is a blast. It's fun getting peed poured on you. Like I really enjoyed it, but they never could come after me because I knew my law. I knew the rules. Criminal justice. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I knew the rules, the laws. I knew what I could and couldn't do, and I didn't want to break the rules. So, anyways, cops, same way. They should be same thing. I am all for cops getting their bachelor's degree, getting some kind of college degree, even putting that money towards having them do it and get a college degree in criminal justice. And here, man, that changed everything for me. It was an incredible degree. Got it from Mid-America Christian University. My minor was in ethics. Great. They did a very good job. The professors they had and everything. So, anyways, let's move on. House is going to vote. Do you guys see that? They're going to vote to have another state. We're going to have 51 stars on the flag, folks. 51 stars because the House is voting to make DC a state. Isn't that convenient? So you know what that means? We fall farther into liberalism because now they have more of a say. It's all they're trying to do. That's all that needs to be done here. Continue to get their way, continue the corruption. They can do that by making DC the 51st state. Yeah, it's garbage. So that got me thinking. Actually, I read something and I just couldn't get away from it. Come back to it. Let's talk about the Bible after everything we talked about there. Genesis. Let's talk about in Genesis, Sodom and Gomorrah. You guys have heard those preachers that have said, oh, America don't repent long time ago. We're like Sodom and Gomorrah. We've never been in a position where we're like Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm beginning to wonder if we don't resemble any part of that now, though. Only because God basically comes to Abraham. This is still, back not long after Adam and Eve, all these things going on. Abraham starting this, God has set him up for this new covenant that even extends to us to this day. And the outrage, the Bible says the outrage of Sodom and Gomorrah, that's what he says, is so great and their sin is so grave. It had reached God. These two cities had become so corrupt that the outcry had reached God. They had reached a level of evil that they could not return from. They had crossed a line, and this is what's coming up to God. He's hearing that they had crossed a line that they would never come back from. The cities would completely be destroyed, wiped out, completely wiped out. Humanity wiped out in both these cities, and then the corruption would go into the rest of the world, obviously, in other parts of the world. So I got to wondering, you know what? Let's just see where we kind of add up. Now, we know some of the sins in Sodom and Gomorrah. But I just looked in the Bible, Proverbs 6:16 through 19. 7 sins we know, abomination. They're abomination to God. So I was wondering, I wonder if these things existed. You guys tell me. I'm going to read them off to you. And I'm even going to, on one of them here, maybe two, I am going to tell you the Hebrew meaning of the word. I looked up the Hebrew meaning of the word. And I read out of the Torah, I can't call it the Old Testament. That does not make Jews very happy because this is the only testament. But I read their book of the Bible straight from Hebrew, as you guys can see. You turn the pages left to right. I'm holding it upside down, but you see that it's wrote in Hebrew and then in English. Exact translation. Sometimes it's kind of hard to make sense because the translation is exact. Then I'll go to a New King James Bible and read the exact translation. So, 7 sins, abomination. Number 1, lying tongue. Number 2, just tell me if we fit in any of these, and then we'll go on. Number 2, hands that shed innocent blood. 62 million murders in America of abortion. We call it legal and okay. 60, and now we have opened that door. We will do even more than we've ever done in America, thanks to Joe Biden and company. A heart, number 3, a heart that devises wicked schemes. Sounding familiar? God despises this. He said the word abomination, looking it up in Hebrew, it's disgusting to God and it's idolatry to him, equal to idolatry to him. A heart devises wicked schemes. Number 4, a false witness who utters lies. Number 5, spreads strife among brothers. Did you guys hear Maxine Waters the other day? If that was innocent on that police officer, burn the cities down, riot. Have you guys heard Jesse Jackson and these people? Have you heard very members of our Congress? Do you think they're spreading strife among brothers? Is Jesse Jackson causing peace? Was Obama causing peace in the nation? Was he trying to keep America's citizens together, or was he causing strife? This is an abomination, disgusting, the same as idolatry to God. How about feet that are swift to run? I didn't even write the last part. Feet that are swift to run to evil. Sound familiar? Lastly, haughty eyes. I looked that up. Haughty eyes, it's prideful, arrogance, very arrogant. I think I just described the United States government. I just described the House, the Senate, president, all the way down. Governors. We meet those things that disgust God in our nation. Anyway, Sodom and Gomorrah, back to Sodom and Gomorrah. We had reached a level that was just disgusting. It had gone too far. God, in his timing, said, man, it's time to judge. The cries have reached me from Sodom and Gomorrah. I've got to go, his exact words. I am going down there to see if their account is true. If this is true, then I'm going to do something about it. I've got to judge this. I cannot allow this to go to a level that can never be returned. I'm going to do something about it in my timing, and it was his time. And then Abraham jumps in. There were 2 angels with God. The 2 angels go down to Sodom and Gomorrah to go see Lot, which was Abraham's nephew. God stays back and he talks to Abraham, and Abraham comes up and says, man, I got to ask you, God. He's thinking about his family down there. He knows the situation in Sodom and Gomorrah. He's talked to his nephew. He said, God, I've got to ask you, would you forgive that city for 50 people? If there's 50 good people that are innocent down there, would you forgive the city? Just bring forgiveness. God says, sure. If there are 50 righteous people in that city, I'll forgive all of it. I'll forgive their sin and they'll live happily. It'll be fine. Because I know that 50 people can win the city over and put an end to this. These cities are full of thousands. Then he thinks about it. I'm sure Abraham's like, I really don't know if there are 50 people. He said, hey, God, what about 5 less than 50? What if there's 45? Would you destroy the city? He no longer says forgive the city. I thought that was interesting. I'll have to do some more research on that. But he quits talking about forgiveness. He said, would you destroy the city? Bring it to complete ruins. He knows God. God never says he's going to destroy it. He's listening to God here. He knows God. And he said, would you destroy it if there's 45 righteous people? God says, nope, I won't destroy it for 45 righteous people. And if you've heard the story, Abraham goes on, how about 30? How about 20? And he goes, God, forgive me. Let me just ask one more time. For 10 people, would you destroy the city? If there's 10 righteous, good people. And God said, if there's 10, no, I won't destroy it. I'm sure Abraham thought, man, I got Lot, his 2 daughters, their family. There's 10. My 10 are safe. We're good. The city's fine. He walks away. Said, thanks. If you guys have read the story, you know they go into the city. They go to Lot's house. They tell Lot what's up. They say, we got to get out of here. God has seen this city and he's going to destroy it. He's going to judge the city. Lot says, no, let me save it. It was a little too late then, Lot. Lot wanted to speak up, and it was a little too late to start speaking up and shouting then. The city was coming under judgment. So he's trying to tell everybody, hey, chill out. He's trying to get his family, all these things. The angels have to literally grab him and his family in. Lot goes to his son-in-laws, I believe it is, and tells them, look, God's going to destroy this city. We've got to get out of here. I mean, he's trying to warn now. He's saying, help, we got to go. It says the son-in-laws take him as he's joking. Nah, God's not going to take this city out. He's not going to destroy the city. They get left behind. I think they end up saving four to five people. They end up grabbing Lot, his 2 daughters, and his wife. And they get him out of the city. God says, hey, better go to that next town. You go right down there. I can't do anything that I'm going to do until you get down there. They head down there. God deals with the city. There wasn't 10 people, so he destroys it. You know what I just read in Google I found very interesting? Let me read it for you guys. Very interesting. So I looked up Sodom and Gomorrah because I wanted to know, right, what's going on right now. I wanted to learn a little bit about modern Sodom and Gomorrah. This is what it says. The ruins of the biblical city of Sodom have been discovered by U.S. archaeologists in southern Jordan. And perhaps most interestingly, the excavations are revealing that life in the city came to an abrupt end during the Middle Bronze Age, 2000 to 1540 BC timeline of the Bible, seemingly consistent with the biblical story. Isn't that not amazing? Man, God brought an end. And now I look and I just listen to what's going on with the prophetic, people saying things, what we've been talking about on here. We've been saying many of the same things. Something's going to happen and we don't know what. I did hear somebody say today, they had Missy, write her name on there. That lady that talked today was incredible. If you guys can look her up, she made very good points. Even brought up Q, you guys know, brought him up and brought up some very interesting points on how she listened and what she hears from God and the things she was saying. I thought it was very interesting. Of anybody I've heard, she was probably one of the got my attention more than anybody about just things coming up and what we all feel. Everybody kind of feels something's coming, right? Does anybody think we're just going to all be okay and nothing's happening? We all feel this something is about to happen, something's coming. And all I keep hearing is for some of us, like Lot and his family, don't be afraid. You're going to be okay. For others, it's going to be terrifying. I don't think God's just going to go wiping out, killing people. I don't believe it. I mean, I don't think it. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I don't believe that. I just think it's going to be something that's going to turn everything around 180 degrees, and we're going to see some very amazing things, but man, is it going to be big on a level that history has never seen. Sodom and Gomorrah was on a level history had never seen to that level. At that time, with that many people all around, fire and everything, it flooded at one time. Now God said, I'm not ever going to wipe out the whole earth again because we're going to have enough righteous people. But cities, man, we cannot let this much evil go. We lead the world. America is a leader of the world. We know that. And we are at a level of corruption that could be heading to a point of no return. I do not see them dealing with this thing on the voting. Look what happened to Venezuela. They are not addressing and will not allow anybody, unless you're on your own platform, they will not allow you to address the Dominion issue, the voting machine issue. Mike Lindell. By the way, we're going to Mike Lindell's deal, and I will be off of this soon. Soon as Mike Lindell has his stuff in order, I'm going there. Looks like it's going to be pretty easy as soon as the bugs are worked out. So I don't know what's coming. We all feel it. We know it. In the best way I can tell you is just advice for you guys. Man, I would just have, what if people are saying electricity may go out for 3 or 4 days. I think it'll be quick, whatever happens. I say have some things ready. Just have a few things, beside you. Might have a few days of, I don't know. I'm going to just for safety. I could actually go without food for a few days, so I'd be all right. But you guys do what you think. But the cry of evil, I believe, has gone to a point that it has reached God's ears, and I think we all know that. I think Lot possibly could have been very humiliated that he went to that city and could not win anybody over. He went to that city, and did he speak up? Was he crying out? I wonder if it was embarrassing to him at all. I wonder if the overtaking of evil in the country and what we're seeing, even though good is going and good does abound, but the things we're seeing, I wonder if the church, because I am a little embarrassed that we've sat by and watched this. I've even engaged. I wonder if the church shouldn't be a little embarrassed. We're speaking up now, starting to speak up, but I think it might be at a point that God has to intervene. I don't know if it's enough without God's coming in completely and turning this thing around. He's going to have to intervene, and that's where we're asking God, please come for our mess that we've messed up. All I can say now is you guys are listening. We are righteous. We are fine. We are speaking up now. Our eyes are open. We are awakened. You are the church of God. You are Christ's righteousness of God. You are a chosen people, the Bible says, a royal nation, and you are part of that. Realize that now. Be encouraged. When you wake up, don't think about your past. I keep telling you. I think we've got a past in the church that has been, man, I don't want to look back at it. I think we failed. I think we didn't speak up. I think we didn't talk enough. I think we said, God's a powerful God, come serve him, and nobody believed us in the white one day. It was kind of like selling a Kirby vacuum, and you go throw the stuff on the ground and it picks up nothing in front of your customers. I never sold Kirby vacuums. I just saw that one time and I was like, who would want to buy that? Same thing. I think the church became powerless, but they talked about a powerful God. I think now we're talking about a powerful God who is about to be on display, and we better keep going with that. We better keep that narrative going because we're going to be able to prove it now. God will win. He is going to win. He's going to win through us. So keep your heads up. Frank's speech. Thank you, Connie. Check Frank's speech out. That's where everybody's going. Unfiltered, conservative. Man, it's a new platform, so be looking after it. Guys, man, at the end of the day, we win. The nation's going to win. It will come out of this. We will be a republic at the end of it, even though it looks like some crazy stuff is going on. It doesn't just look like it. Crazy stuff is going on. Stuff that we couldn't have even imagined a year ago. Right now, if we had to think about this, can you imagine last year at this time? Maybe we started to think, this is nuts. I don't think we could have even dreamed as of now the reality of a false, fake takeover of a nation, and not a bullet missile was fired. And the nation has been taken over, because that's exactly what happened. At the end of the day, it will probably be the best thing that ever happened to us. I'm praying that's true. Guys, I appreciate it. I'll let you know if we're on here tomorrow. You guys will see the advertisement. I may have a special guest. You guys have heard him before. I'll see if we can get him on here. There's a part of that story he's got to tell. He hadn't told yet. You guys are really going to like it. If you haven't seen yesterday's, Roxanne Morrison, the author, and her story yesterday, go watch that. Pretty incredible, very uplifting, very encouraging. Love you guys. Keep praying. keep praying for your health, your own health, your family's health, the country for sure. God is coming through. It's going to work, and it's going to be through us. Keep your head